especially our daughters and our sisters. We are trying our level best to teach people in all the platforms that we have to deepen their understanding of Islam. For instance, can you imagine a merciful God instructing us to cut our organs? Can you imagine that? Is Allah that kind of God to tell us to take our daughters and cut part of their organs? That is so horrible. That is indirectly accusing Allah of being what? Callous? So it is very difficult in this environment to be an imam who wants to teach sanity. It's very difficult. But we are doing our level best to inform those who can understand. And some of our difficulties are not even men, women, as you have described here, because these imams that most of the supporters are women. Most of them are women. So, and I watched a video clip of the First Lady of Sierra Leone saying that she went through FGM and she has had 3 children, and she wouldn't say that it's not good. And she has a very powerful platform and a powerful voice. And that would be very influential because it's being circulated in the social media all over the place. So culture came before Islam. Islam is only 1,445 years old. And the Arabs, especially those in African countries from Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, they had been practicing this FGM thousands of years before Islam. So Islam came, and the problem with a new religion is that when it is initially introduced, it was, for instance, in the Gambia, Islam has been here for only 1,000 years. And before that, thousands of years before that, Gambians were here practicing their FGM. So when these Arabs came and brought their religion, and some of the leaders of the communities entered Islam, one of the things that they negotiated was that they would not leave their cultural practices. They said, no, if you want me to accept your religion, you have to accept my culture. So that was the negotiation. That was the result of the negotiation. So that's why it's very difficult. And for us, those who are not profoundly trained in Islam, to know that this had been here even before Islam. So, but the reason why Islam is accepts it is because it resonates with Islam. Because this FGM celebrates purity of the female genitalia, if you will. And in Islam, purity is very important in family. So that's why these unscrupulous imams, they would, they would do anything just to bring some evidence that are not accepted by most of the celebrated scholars in the Islamic literature to say that this is Islam. And you can imagine, the fact of the matter is that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us that we should take our boys to circumcision. He instructed us to do that, but he never said anything about his daughter or his wife. So the fact that that is absent in the literature is evidence enough to show us that that is not part of Islam. Because we know that he took Hassan and Hussein to circumcision. He did that. But he didn't tell us what happened to Kulthum or Fatima or Ruqayya, or he didn't say anything about that. And now these people are telling us that this is Islam. This is your responsibility, you women. You have to stand and say no. You have to stand and say no. You have said that you are 50, I don't know, 52% or 53. It doesn't mean anything because you haven't shown that in the Gambia. We have said you are 52%. All of you should stand and tell Barrow that this is not going to happen. Very simple. You are the majority. Just tell him. Tell him that this is not going to happen. We don't care, even if it is Islam, it hurts us. Because we know the five pillars of Islam. Those are obligatory. The rest is negotiable. If you pray, you believe that Allah is one, you fast Ramadan, you go to Mecca, and what again? Huh? You take out your zakat, it's finished. The rest is negotiable. The rest is interpretation by scholars. And those interpretations were done by scholars who were, as this lady said, were products of patriarchy. They were highly misogynistic, those scholars. Because most of them didn't even believe that women were 100% human. Yeah, because that had been the belief before Islam. Until the Quran came and said that both men and women were created from one source. In Surah Al-Nisa, in chapter 4 of the Quran. That was brought because Allah knew that the Arabs didn't believe that women and men were from the same source. He said, Ya ayyuhan nasu ittaqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum min nafsin wahida. Allah created you from the same source and produced women from that same source. Because that was the prevailing belief before Islam. So that is the problem. So for the few of us who want to support, you have to support yourself first. So we thank all of the women leaders here, starting with Honorable Minister and the National Assembly member and Miss Jilan. His dad is my friend, we want to congratulate you for your day. This is your big day, and you have to enjoy it. But after that, tomorrow you have to start working and struggling and solving the problem. And the first problem you should solve is this FGM thing hanging on your head.
We have been tasked that after the commemorations, we go back to the drawing board and we find a solution. Because what is evident in all of these conversations is we are only talking about FGM now. The Children's Act is next, child marriage. The Sexual Offences Act is next. The Domestic Violence Act is next, and the list goes on and on and on. Like I asked in the beginning, when do women get to take their rest? so we need to start working.